Winx, man.
Close your eyes.
Okay, I think that's all I'm allowed to play. Magical girls. I love magical girls. Correction, I love magical girl transformations. I've watched all the Precure ones, the Madokas, Sailor Moon. What else is there to name off? But my little rat brain has no care for the actual shows, and I've tried, but they were never for me. I think in total, I've only really fully engaged with 2 magical girl shows, and one of them doesn't even have any girls in them, so does it count? But the topic of this video is Winx Club, a childhood favorite. I've watched every good season, all 4 of them, but I still check in occasionally to be disappointed by the new transformations. Except for Bloomix, that one was really cool, but I heard the season, or anything after season 4, was pretty bad. But with a possible reboot on the horizons, I thought I could throw in my brain in the mix and cook up my own redesigns. Before going directly into the redesigns, I had made these original itty bitty sketches in like February of 2022, so it's been a full year. I took these sketches and made some dinky illustrations to gauge the colors, because I'm really bad at that. Anyway, you might see them pop up occasionally. I have like 12 of these designs to get through, so let's go. Of course, to start the redesign journey, we have Bloom. In my earliest sketches, I envisioned a more shy, artsy, and introverted Bloom, so she got wrapped up in a semi-preppy style, hair done up in a messy ponytail, the pens and brushes everywhere, a bag to keep all the art shit in. Warning for a crummy sketch, but I found this old attempt and it kind of showcases the initial personality I had in mind. Going up to the color test, the shy personality had a lot of influence. In the end, only the fashion stayed. The personality got an update. There were 3 things I really wanted to focus on for Bloom, which was the red hair, blue clothes, and flared bootcut jeans with stars on them. I knew that the red of Bloom's hair was the only red I wanted on her, so her outfit is basically just blues and yellows, which are the colors of her season 1 outfit, so yay recognizability, I guess. For now, her dressing in a more preppy style is because she wants to appear more mature to her parents. I mean, she's about to go off to college soon, but they're too scared to even allow Bloom to get a driver's license or a car. The only noteworthy thing is her scars. She doesn't know it yet, but she got them when she was hucked out of Domino, but hey, at least she managed to get out of there. Here's the final Bloom outfit. She's very much a ball of anxiety, but also filled to the brim with extroverted energy. Very willing to make new friends. She's got a nasty temper if you ever piss her off, but for the most part, she's just a little goober. Going into their Winx form, personal opinion, but I don't like calling this form Winx, but I will for the sake of convenience. I don't know what else to call it. I feel as I talk about each girl's forms, I'm gonna have less and less to say since I played it pretty safe with each design, and there's only so much to talk about without repeating myself. The basic process was a main color for the outfit, a bucket of glitter, and a secondary color for some like extra details and flair. I wanted to add some draconic elements to hint at Bloom's power, hence the scaled centerpiece, some horns, wings got changed. Her hair was let down, which in the original, I think only Stella got a hair transformation, which I think is a shame. She got these flared detached sleeves, they sort of mimic her jeans, I guess. The weird hair tufts were a spontaneous design choice, but I really ended up liking them for some reason. They had additional colors, but I nixed them since it felt like there was too much going on there. But yeah, added some random floating gold jewelry for some magical flair, and we're done. Here's the final look. Her wings were definitely a shock to her since she was expecting some more girly fairy wings, but alas, at least she's a fairy. So Stella went through the most major iterations before I settled on something. I knew that going in she was going to have a lot of shiny stuff on her. She's a rich girly. I gave her glasses since I wanted someone to have glasses. I thought this idea might be straight from my brain, but I found one stock art image for Stella with glasses, so I guess that looked just really impacted me there. I wanted her to show off the most skin. It felt like she would, and I really want to show off some tan lines. And that was pretty much it. I finished the sketch in color study, but as I was doing it, It just felt really boring to me. Like, where's the pizzazz? The extraness? I looked through Stella's gallery on the Winx wiki, and it was the greens that really caught my attention. Listen, the green and orange are like quite literally my least favorite colors, but Stella is making it work. So I went back, I redid the top to be a butterfly corset to add in some green, and I was like, oh cool, we're good. But as I was drawing the bottoms, I did not like how the half skirt thing was working. So new idea. I wanted to give someone harnesses, and out of the group, Stella felt like someone who would wear them. So cool, slapped on some impractical, funky fashion harnesses, and we're good again. Just because of design overload, I removed the circular hip belt thing, which is so sad for me since I really liked it. It was like having a bunch of little suns on her. I heard somewhere they're not supposed to mix gold and silver, but her necklace is from her mom, so try and tell Stella not to wear it. After a couple iterations, Stella was finally done. To be honest, I'm not sure if it's good, but her personality is basically the same, very confident, but also kind of ditzy. She got held back a year for partying too hard, but hopefully her friends will remind her to study. OG Stella's Winx form was always really interesting to me since she was the only one with a new hairstyle, if you don't count Tecna's cap thing. I kept the hair, but I really elongated them and put them into these ringlets for some added fanciness. Her main color is orange with some light blue as secondary. The centerpiece is the phases of the moon, and her crown is meant to emulate star rays. The rest of her clothes is just straight up listed from her original design with some asymmetry added on her arm for fun. The Solaria staff got a redesign. I'm pretty sure in lore it's only connected to Stellaria, the sun planet, but I say it undergoes a minor transformation depending on the wielder. Wink wonk chimera. I know that Stella is mostly the fairy of the shining sun, but it doesn't mean she erases her mom's influences. Stella loves both of her parents, it's just that she's closer to her dad, you know? Here's the final look. She likes to use her magic for simple party tricks or colorful spectacles, but she'll give you a good wallop with the indestructible staff if she needs to. I wanted Flora to be a silk hiding steel character, if you're familiar with that trope. Like, she looks very sweet and elegant, and she is, but when push comes to shove, she'll summon a giant flytrap to eat you. I have this memory of Inino Strafidi, the creator, saying that Flora is the second strongest of the team after Bloom, but I can't find a source for that, so... I wanted Flora to be strong in the physical sense too, but more practical or like weightlifting strength and show muscles. Her colors kind of drove me bonkers since I don't like using more than like 5 colors on an outfit, and she has 7-ish. Wow, aren't I daring today? The initial sketch had a much more sportier energy before it transitioned to a softer look. I wanted her shoes to be like the only practical thing on her. Like, by the way, there's no such thing as pretty gardening shoes apparently. I wanted to show that while Flora likes dressing cute, there is some practicality hidden there, since I imagine she spends a lot of time in the greenhouse or just in the dirt. I waffled back and forth between the hair streaks. I knew I wanted to darken the hair color to like a darker brown hue, but I didn't know how much lighter the streaks should be, or if I should include them at all. I did, but it's like bleached or dye hair. Flora has e-girl bangs now, I guess. Here's the final look. She's very shy and reserved, but very talkative once you get to know her. If you need someone to carry multiple pounds of dirt, or your luggage, she's your girl. I don't think Flora's Winx form is radically different from the original. It follows the same design trends with some added greens, namely the lotus-looking corset thing. Don't ask me what the material is. Sometimes ideas form in my head and I just draw them. The original look had a clover like choker, which I included in the initial sketch and in the color study, but I dropped it. The hand position and the neck area was getting really cluttered. Instead, I just changed the swirls on her leg to some green to like spread the color around, and they kind of emulate vines. Out of all the girls, I think only Flora's hair is the one who became shorter. I've always liked it when transformation played with hairstyles and length. It just makes it feel more magical. Blonde hair is now twisted to kind of look like a halo. Last thing to note is the wings. They're meant to look like ginkgo leaves. Originally, they were generic leaf shape, but I was trying to find a better, more interesting leaf, but ginkgo leaves are the only remarkable leaf shape to me. And we'll finish with Flora. She's consistently the most powerful fairy of the bunch, but she prefers to play support and defense to the team. Tecna underwent the biggest design change out of the gang. I don't dislike Tecna's design. I quite like most of her outfits, especially the more weird or like avant-garde ones, but I want more variety in my outfits. Like, I accidentally gave everyone crop tops except for Bloom. So Tecna got a major design change from initial to color. Basically nothing stayed, as she was like very loosely based on tech wear. The problem is, I don't want to draw a ton of belts, and from the looks of it, tech wear has a lot of fucking belts. Hence, very loose inspiration. I ported over the purple and green color scheme, and well, she kinda looks like the Ava 1 unit from Evangelion. There's two major changes to Tecna that I haven't really touched on. One, she's got them prosthetic legs. I was looking at the reboot designs, and Tecna has some snazzy new arms and legs. I'm not sure if there's anything said of the new arms or legs, but since I already had Tecna showing off her legs here, I thought, why not just give her prosthetics too? They're based off ball jointed doll legs for the fun of it. I'm saying this for this Tecna, but she loves skeuomorphism, as she loves adding a vintage flair to all her technology. That's canon in this universe. Second, she's getting a completely new hairstyle because the show refuses to give her anything else other than short, asymmetrical bangs. The initial sketch and color study both had Tecna with like short bangs and like a buzz side, but I felt like I was just repeating the same thing the show does. I settled on a wolf cut, which I don't know how to draw, but hey, Tecna is finally getting another short hairdo. Here she is. Tecna is very analytical and gets engrossed in stuff pretty easily, whatever she's doing. If she's busy and she needs more surface area, she'll turn her legs 180 and use it as another table. And again, Tecna's fairy form had a big change between show and my redesign, but this is also just because how different Tecna's show design is. I can't say I'm a fan of it, but I do like bits and pieces, mostly the wings and the shoes. The helmet is iconic, but just because it's iconic doesn't mean I have to like it. I swapped it out for a hood to get the same general idea while also suiting my tastes. Then I basically took a razor to the rest of the outfit and removed the sleeves, tummy area, and part of the top of the chest. The girlie's gotta breathe. She doesn't have as much of her secondary green, but because it's such a bright color, I hope it makes up for it. Before the prosthetics, I gave her these knee pad things to distribute the greens around it, but they line up pretty well with just making the ball joint a bright green. Like the rest, Tecna got a different hairstyle. I played around with a couple more styles, but I didn't want to give Tecna the same hairstyle where the other girls got new ones, so, you know. The rest of the hair is just tied up in a short ponytail, if you're curious. And that's 2/3 done. Tecna's the team analyst and mostly plays support. Her spells are pretty wacky. I think they will be like somewhat fun and like video game inspired, I think. Initially, Musa had a much more alternative style, think 2000s Avril Lavigne, before I completely just Control-C, Control-V'd Musa's season 1 outfit. It's purely because of the whale tail, like, what the fuck? It's not a fashion style I like for me, but for the pure boldness factor of it, I gotta give it to her. Hell, let her show off more of it. Why not? I think she still retains like a little bit of an alt flair, but I'm not sure in what. Maybe it's the piercings or choker or the rip top. Because I so heavily copied the outfit, there isn't much for me to say about anything. I added some funky patterns to the pants just to break it up. By the way, let me know if y'all can read the notes on her pants. I worked really hard on it. Her hair got poofed up significantly. I like the blunt style of the show, but I thought a wilder one would suit her better here. Personally, I'm not a fan of the long hair variant. It just feels super tacked on and it lacks the character of the blunt cut. Personal thing. What else? The body. Musa got shredded. It's more akin to like show muscle, but it's not for nothing. She's the second strongest, physically speaking, after Flora, but she's the shortest of the group, so a lot of people don't take her seriously when she says she'll kick their ass. The last thing I wanted to mention is the tattoo, specifically the one on her chest. It's meant to be a sonogram of her mom's voice, either like a song she sang, her last words. Musa keeps it close to her heart, you know? Bada bing, bada boom. Casual outfit done. Musa's very much the mood maker of the group and has a hard time showing sadness around her friends, but she's getting better at it though. Despite the way she looks, she's more likely to listen to Gustav Holst's Venus, Bringer of Peace than something more contemporary. By this point, I was kind of running out of steam for redesigning the fairy forms. I wanted each of them to look unique, but also like in a set, and there's only so many ideas my brain has. Since Musa is East Asian coded, more specifically Chinese coded, I decided to look at Tipao's for design elements. My initial sketches had an asymmetrical look with cutouts, ribbons, and the collar. None of it stayed since it felt too frivolous. I looked at the other girls to see what designs I had already made and to see if I can bring in something new. I worked in a mandarin collar with a tassel since that felt fun. It felt different. A leg garter for asymmetry. I added a mesh centerpiece since Stella was the only one with something like that. The hair had a more traditional bun shapes, but I decided to turn it into bows. The whole thing is meant to look like a quarter note, hence the weird curl at the end. Slapped on some treble and bass clef wings, and then I called it good. Her powers are more abstract than the others, ranging from big music hurdy to fucking with your tempo, I guess. She can summon a variety of instruments to boost or aid her powers also. Aisha doesn't come into the story until like season 2, but it would be so wrong of me to not include her. Winx feels like one of those rare stories where it got to introduce a new core character to a series and have her integrate so well and be so beloved. Like, I forget that Aisha wasn't in season 1, she feels so integral to the gang. Also, she's called Layla in some adaptation, not sure why, but I'm just gonna stick to Aisha here. Her top didn't change much, Her top didn't change too much from initial to color, it was mostly just the bottoms. Looking through my designs, the girls that wore long pants were all loose-fitting pants, so Aisha's got swapped out. Plus, out of all the girls, Aisha felt like the one to wear something more athletic. As a princess of a watery planet, it's probably good for her to wear non-loose garments, and I don't know, it might help with her dancing form too, maybe. My favorite piece though is her pants. I can't say the design is straight from the dome since I swear I saw it from somewhere else. I can't find the reference or like the inspiration. Getting the colors was pretty hard. I remember Aisha being in mostly cool colors, so I went blues and greens and some yellows for contrast. It's kind of interesting to see that Aisha's main outfit in season 2 and 3 have darker feel to them compared to the more saturated colors of her teammates and of the ones from the later seasons. I wanted to strike a balance between the two, and you can judge if I did good. I think it's interesting that Aisha's outfit is the only one that looks like it's like a set. Probably says something about her character. Here's the final completed look. Just kidding. I went back and redid her pose and expression. It just felt so off to me. Here's the redone one, and I think it shows off her personality just a little bit better. She's a very opinionated and passionate person, but due to her strict royal upbringing, she has a hard time fully expressing her emotions. She's that person that you can either come up with the most sensible solution that everyone overlooks, or the most batshit idea ever. Either way, it always works out somehow. Okay, one more. I knew I wanted Aisha's fairy form to be pretty asymmetrical since I remember incorporating a lot of wrapped garments. I was right. But I was also worried that it looked too different from the other girls since their looks are pretty symmetrical. But since Stella and Musa had some asymmetrical elements, I said screw it. You know, I make the rules here. The skirt was a lot more flowy in my original sketch, you know, like ocean waves and such. But I decided to bring it more in line to what the show gave her. The hair was a big point of contrast between her civilian and magical form. I think it'll be fun to see the animation with her like hair poofing up from her bantu knots. I thought about adding some whites to the end of her hair to kind of resemble sea foam, because I think that would be so pretty. But since I didn't change any of the girls' hair color, I didn't add it. Maybe an alternate form or a power-up thing, I could do it, but By the way, I'm keeping her title as Fairy of the Waves because Fairy of Fluids does not have a good ring to it in English. Just know that her power set is more than just water. She created an entirely new substance, bro. And this takes us, finally, to the end of this journey. Aisha's Morphix allows her to create a whole range of objects, so she can get pretty creative with its uses, but she's also uses it a lot outside of battle for more mundane stuff. Oh boy, this was a time. First things first, I'm sorry if this video feels a bit more scrambled and quicker than my other videos. I'm trying to get more confident in my video recording thing, and this is just closer to how I normally talk. Hopefully, it's not overly irritating and mildly entertaining. Second thing, do not expect the next video to be done as soon. The school's still a thing and I'm still dying. But that's pretty much it. Fun little thing for the end of the video for those who made it here. So I drew the characters in the order shown, so like Bloom was drawn first. Before this final drawing, I had made another one, and here it is. I made it, and then I looked at it, and you gotta laugh at how wonky it is. And the thing is, I made the new one, as in the one for this video, the day after finishing the original one, the first one. I just kept on looking at it and hating it. Sometimes you just have really off days, you know, and you just gotta like push through it. Anyway, here's the girls in rough height. I just scaled them up and down to roughly what I think they would be, so maybe the proportions aren't too off, hopefully. So yeah, bye. See y'all. Oh yeah, Kiko's a thing. Here's Kiko. Here he is. He's a fairy animal raised by Bloom. His species can fly, but Kiko never learned. Not that people believe Bloom when she says Kiko has like wings or horns or is weird. Since Earth lost its belief in magic and Kiko looks like a regular rabbit to them. And now, finally, I'm done. See y'all. Bye bye.